Eternal sleep is not the end.
For Idrila.
Receive
For Idrila.
divinity.
Path the beauty. Idrila
Will return!
Even the eons are not truly immortal.
The fact that Idrila has fallen is tacitly acknowledged by some Knights of Beauty.
Currently, there are 3 ways an Aeon can perish known to humanity.
3 ways in which an Aeon can die: being absorbed by another Aeon, annihilated in an Aeon war, and through a third method, which Kafka never explained, and conveniently we never ask her about it. The downfall of Tazenroth was a well-known historical event, as an Aeon war would be, but only rumors are spread around about the Idrila's demise. The Path of Beauty has seemingly not been contested either. So for now, that leaves us with the third option. Whatever happened to Idrila, it was either the secret third way we didn't get to learn about, or that raises the question: is Idrila dead at all? And the answer is most likely yes. Kind of, in a way. Idrila is nowhere to be seen in the universe, and so the rumors had to be somewhat reliable and not disproven until now. However, these rumors don't mean Idrila has disappeared as an Aeon. It only means that whatever state Idrila is in now may resemble death. A state close enough to death to fool the universe, an eternal sleep of sorts.
Eternal sleep is not the end.
Our biggest hint yet in favor of that was in Argenti's companion quest. As a Knight of Beauty, Argenti draws his power from, well, that's a good question. Where does he draw his power from exactly? Databank says the source of power of Knights of Beauty is a mystery, and it would be if Idrila was truly dead and their powers dispersed, as the universe believes it to be. But towards the end of the quest, Argenti mentions the key detail. The traces of beauty appear and his power truly flourishes when he is close to death.
Each time I wander closer to death, it gets me closer to the path the beauty once walked.
And just like how there are rumors that Idrila has fallen, there have always been rumors that Idrila will be making a triumphant return. We even get the date, during the elusive 13th month. But frankly, it's not just rumors. Idrila, evidently, doesn't have their own tangible presence in the world right now, but their connections to the living world still hold. It is through their followers that we can glimpse their past and future, and there are 2 defined factions that still worship Idrila and believe in their return. Mirror holders are in possession of mirrors of transcendence, artifacts they believe to be shards of Idrila's divine form. They are on a brave mission to collect all of the shards and return Idrila to the world. A very fetch me 10 herbs quest in nature, but it is one of the first evidences supporting Idrila's return. Not only because a faction of we don't know who's, fanatics, desperate souls, reasonable people pursues this method, but because that method is scientifically approved. In the Glimpses into the Beyond, where Fuxian documents various Aeons, she also writes this about Idrila. My documents exchanged with the Intelligentsia Guild mention if the relics of the Wonder Gazer can be found intact, their beautiful countenance will be able to reappear. Importantly, the Knights share these connections to mirrors. Day in and day out, they follow their code of chivalry, live in piety, and resist the temptations of triple demons, the manifestations of human desires. Eventually, their life choices and training culminate in the trials of reflection. Aptly named. Whether in passing these trials the Knights also restore the pieces of mirror is unclear, but not impossible. Slowly but surely, these 2 factions are working towards Idrila's rebirth. But slow and steady is never enough in high-stakes plot lines. The Church of Purity Palace and its Knights were a faction dedicated to the eradication of devils on their unnamed home planet. They received their powers from the Stellar Sea from an unknown Aeon. And purely from the description of the set, there are 2 Aeons we can narrow the worship down to. That's right, Idrila is one of them. At a glance, it is hard to conclude whether the Aeon was Aeon of the Order or Idrila the Beauty. But the Knights of the Purity Palace and the Knights of Beauty happen to share another connection, an eerily similar ill fate. In case of the Purity Palace, the castle piece reveals this. The power granted from the Stellices gifted the church the strength to punish devils, but also spread an insanity that ate away at human rationality. The maiden of the church described it at the time as the consequence of coveting the power of the Aeons. On the other hand, Argenti's story tells of what happened to some knights following the assumed demise of Idrila. Piety intermingled with doubt and laughter intertwined with lunacy, notions of honor, reputation and infamy dissolved into nothingness. This marked the end of everything. The insanity is not the only symptom the knights suffered from. Mutation is another. The knight Argenti meets has not only become a lunatic, but a beast. His armor transformed into the scaly hide of the behemoth he had slain, his weapon into unyielding claws and fangs, and his blood into a viscous and restless flame. Though it's not a side effect of the disappearance or annihilation of the path, their followers are still able to draw from their power, albeit with some suffering from mutation and insanity, the infamous traits of the Mara stroke. And you might have already guessed where this is going, because there is only one being in the universe powerful enough to prevent or avert an Aeon's death, and bring about the terrifying consequences while at it. That's right, I'm talking about the Master of Immortality, Xianzhou. If Xianzhou intervened with Idrila's death, that would have affected their followers too, though it also put all of the Knights of Beauty on the path to become abominations of abundance, and like Mara's drug, they would all be destined to be taken with time. In such case, slow and steady return of Idrila won't do. But such direction of thought comes on the unsteady guessing grounds. If we were to have any hope of supporting this hypothesis, we would need to be very lucky and find somebody from the Church of the Purity Palace who would be strongly connected to the Knights of Beauty and Idrila, and hate Xianzhou for good measure.
You see, I've returned.
Luocha grew up on the planet where the Church of the Purity Palace presided. That's right. He would sometimes think of home, the devils, the church, the insanity. He even wears the clothes of his homeworld. Why do you still wear the clothes of your homeworld? Someone asked. It reminds me of the path I must keep treading. That is all, Luocha answered. What path can his clothing remind him of? It is possible the path is indeed the path of beauty, and Luocha at some point has joined the Knights of Beauty. That could have then likely been in the capacity of the Knights of the Purity Palace, who were in that case indeed followers of the Idrila and a branch of the Knights of Beauty. If not, then at the very least like Argenti, who stepped on the path by finding beauty in the war-torn world he grew up in, Luocha too pursued beauty in times of chaos and insanity. One of the evidences to support Luocha as a Knight of Beauty and really drive the point home is in his clothes. There is a white iris that appears abundantly throughout his clothes design. White iris matching the field of white irises surrounding the coffin and his splash art, matching the ones in his light cone, matching the white iris of Idrila the Beauty, as seen in the Myriads of Celestia, a video that introduces all of the Aeons. The thorny vines appearing from inside the coffin, from behind Argenti gates, and within Idrila's imagery, not only tie all three together, but also further point to Xianzhou's involvement. Idrila appears in different forms. Those who perceive them see what they believe to be most beautiful. One knight might think a rose to be the most beautiful flower, another might prefer white iris. But as Luocha says,
The meaning of a flower lies in the duration of its bloom.
white irises and roses are both perennial flowers. After the initial blooming period, they can wither, but with proper care, they can also bloom again.
That which is seized must be repaid.
Go to the Xianzhou, the one who gave him the coffin, said, "Don't forget your promise." Never, Luocha promised, but silently made another vow. The coffin bears the same design as Luocha's clothes and has also likely come from the same world. Given Luocha's design, overbearing flower symbolism, and the past of the Knights of the Purity Palace, the coffin likely contains something pertaining to Idrila, if not Idrila themselves. It is a direct catalyst driving Luocha's quest on the Xianzhou, and I do believe that this coffin and their inhabitant were brought to Luofu to enter the Aeon's chess game. Killing an Aeon to remove the curse of Mara is a laughable goal. As Luocha says,
In order to sever Xianzhou's curse, one must look to the source for a different solution.
If only an Aeon can revert the Aeon's death, then only an Aeon can undo the Aeon's curse. Insert the source in the Stellar Sea, another Aeon must be evoked to contest the abundance. In a deal with Luocha, Xianzhou wants a solution for Mara. Luocha wants to fulfill his vows and promises, and his agenda may very well not be limited to Idrila. And what Idrila wants is not that important when the game of Aeons is at stake.
This is a chess game between eons. If you don't stand with the winners, you stand to lose.
In an Aeons chess game, to shift the balance, you have to add a figure of an equal level. To shake the equilibrium, Idrila will have to enter the playing field. Eternal sleep is not the end, and if the deal with Xianzhou is successful, we may yet see the White Iris bloom again.